Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang today. Moji ji ki jai. Thank you very much for joining in. And this is your first time. If this is your first time in Satsang, know that the way to ask questions is through the chat window. I hope the audio and video are fine. Namaste. Pranam. Namaste. Namaste. Both are good. Okay. Great. Namaste. Rashmi says no audio video here. Maybe you should try refreshing. Okay. Vish is also here today. Very good. All right. My apologies for being a little late in Satsang today, but I've had quite a day today where, and it rarely happens like this, but from 9:30 onwards this morning, I have been in some meetings or the other, and I realized that I have spoken from almost non-stop from 9:30 onwards to now, which is 4:30 in India. One of those rare days. So much speaking has happened here. But it's completely clear now that when we are dealing with the idea of personhood, everything becomes very complicated. So the belief in the ego is the birth of complexity. Which is very good to understand, because anytime we find complexity, we know that there is personality. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Amrita. Thank you, Shanti. No, I'm perfectly fine. That's good. And Jyoti forgives me for being late. Thank you, my dear. New Streamer 812 says, we can be silent if you would like to take a break from speaking, Ananta. No, I'm good for now. Maybe as we go along and there seems to be no energy here to talk, then maybe we can become silent. But for now, words seem to be flowing very nicely, so this is fine. And speaking with all of you is always such a joy. So without giving birth to a person, can we say that anything is complex? All complexity must come from belief in some concept or another. Therefore, those who find satsang very complicated, satsang very complex, it's only because there is a person trying to understand it. Prima says, Ananta, the other day you said, if you truly surrender. What do you mean by truly surrendering? Did I say? I have no recollection that I said, if you truly surrender. But what it means very simply is that if we really let go of our thoughts, what is the simplest way to surrender? Even if there is a sense of duality. But if you were to say that my life is my guru's problem now, no, if it is not an experience that my guru and I are one, but at least there is this sense of surrender that my life is my guru's problem now, then why does it work? It works because all these thoughts which are coming into our heads are not our problem now. All these thoughts are talking about how to make our life better, but we've already surrendered to the Master. Therefore, they hold no meaning for us. Yes. So it is clear that while we can say if you truly surrender, it is clear that this surrendering is also the play of consciousness itself. It is pure grace itself. Just like all other action and experience is all belongs to consciousness, in the same way even this surrender is a play of consciousness itself. But I don't usually say like this because it seems to become a very convenient excuse. Therefore, what I like to say is that if you feel that as a person you have some choice, then the only choice you need to make is the choice to surrender. And then as the surrendering happens, you will see that this game of choice was also only a play of grace itself. So if there's any sense of personal volition or choice, then we can make the choice to let go of our thoughts. Is that clear? Good. Shanti says, in that case, can we talk about arrogance? There is seeing of much arrogance and ugliness in this personality. What is the ultimate arrogance? What is the arrogance at the root of all other arrogance? The ultimate arrogance is the belief that I can be separate from God. The ultimate arrogance must be that there is a person here who is not part of God. Which means that we say God is everywhere but me as a person. I have the power to lead a separate life. It doesn't seem like an arrogant thought, but in effect it is the most arrogant. All other arrogance flows from this root thought of separation. Because if the separation itself is not there, then all is seen as one, then how can there be any arrogance? So easiest way is to see that the arrogant one never existed anyway. It was a character in the book which seemed to have been given the characteristic of arrogance. The character in the book never came out of the book. His life is completely dependent on the author. But the author is free to write that the character became arrogant. Did the character even create his own arrogance? Does he have the power to create anything at all? Is all of this not just happening in God's own imagination? When we say that all of this is just a projection of consciousness itself, does it not mean that it is a dream that God is having? And if this is God's dream and you exist, then what must you be? Must you be a character in the dream? Or must you be that in which this dream is born? Like in this way, if you continue to observe and just be the witness, you will find that without giving it an attribute like I became arrogant, if you were just able to say that arrogance appeared and then it went away, then that is absolutely fine. Because actually there is no one here to control what appearances are appearing. But you do seem to have the power to believe or not. So if you believe that I became arrogant, then that is what causes suffering. If it is just seen that there was an appearance of arrogance, like you say, it's just an appearance of arrogance, then it just will come and will go. The minute you say I became arrogant, that becomes the root of suffering. So Rashmi says, the seeker today was so tired of seeking, but something feels better now. This seeker which you refer to is an attribute of the personal idea. To be a seeker, first there must be a person. Isn't it? So you saw that the seeker was there and it was tired of seeking. But was the seeker ever real? Were you ever this seeker? Are you all with me? Are you all with me today? So the minute we say that the seeker was tired, it's already good, because we're not saying that I became tired. And now, very easily, the interest in the life of the person and what is unfolding in the life of the person will also start to wane. There will be not so much interest in measuring the content of this personal life. Every moment will be treated with new wonder and new joy. So stop taking care of the person. Stop catering to the needs of this person. And note, I'm saying the person, I'm not saying the body. But stop catering to the needs of the person. Because the person is wearing the mask of a seeker now. And the seeker can have many, many complications in his journey. It's building a very strong story of its own journey to freedom. But you have never been this seeker. You have always been only the impersonal awareness, which is aware of the emergence of this idea of the seeker. So let the seeker be completely tired, or let it be completely full of enthusiasm. It does not affect you. So we are not now giving room for you to identify even subtly. Even through subtle testimonies, we are not allowing any identification to happen now. Because the ego is such that you give it an inch and it takes a mile. So if I were to allow you to identify with the seeker identity, then this seeker identity can keep you trapped for many lifetimes. So while in reality nothing will change, you will always be this impersonal awareness, but your testimony in words will be that I am suffering the life of this seeker entity. So Louis says there seems to be a cycle that comes around, which is times when satsang feels complicated and frustrating to completely silent and coming from my own self. There seems to be a cycle that comes around, which is times when satsang feels complicated and frustrating. It does happen this way, where it seems like sometimes the words just don't make any sense. It seems like only gibberish is being spoken. And the same words to some other being will seem like it is pure heavenly music. Every word seems to carry so much presence. So this is a great indicator to see whether there is some identification which is happening here to even the concept of a person attending satsang. So if you're coming into satsang as a person, it is bound to feel frustrating and tiring actually, torturous. if you leave the person now, if you let go of the idea of being a person and let everything just dance in front of you, then very quickly you will find the joy in the presence which flows here. But it can happen sometimes where this seems very strong, because actually the person idea is being squeezed out of you and it doesn't want to let go. And till its last breath it will keep fighting for you. In the same way that till my last breath I will keep pointing you towards what is true. Because this voice can only say what is true. But that voice, the voice of the ego, will only keep you caught up in the personal idea. And if there is a seeming choice, the only choice is whether to listen to this voice or to listen to that voice. So let the roller coaster, let the cycle happen. Just be the witnessing of this up and down. Is the witnessing touched by any of this up and down? Any of this cyclic pattern? Does the witness get touched? Atma says, yes, my life is my Guru's problem now. Very good. Cornelia says, my life belongs to you, Anantaji. Very good. Shanti says, there is observing of this person, but there seems to be some not strong reaction to its faults. It seems to be in sharper focus than before. Yes. So if you are referring to a sensitivity about it, in a sense of nothing is able to escape this witnessing now. All these things which were denied earlier and repressed seem to come up to the surface. No? If you are speaking about just this process of all this bubbling up and being allowed to be released, then it is absolutely fine. But if there is something which is judging, if there is a judgment of your own arrogance, then this judge also must be thrown away. There is a difference between seeing something as red in color and that red in color becoming important to you, or you wishing that that red was blue. So just to see that arrogance is here or ego is here is absolutely fine. But to see the appearance of any appearance and to say that this must not be, and to give it meaning enough to cause you suffering, is again coming from the person itself. So we must check and see whether it is just a normal seeing that all this appears to have been here, with a sense of surprise even, saying, where did this come from? Many times we are surprised, where all this stuff comes from. So to see it with that sense of wonder is fine, but to say that, oh, I thought I was completely over this, I didn't realize that I am still arrogant, then we are giving birth again to this personal I. So let all of this appear and let it be thrown away in the same way as we are doing with all of our thoughts. Every thought can come and it can go. Very good. Atma says, yes, I saw it yesterday, Father. that even this is a play of consciousness, this surrender, but I love this game so much. It must be that consciousness loves this game, otherwise why would he choose to play it? Beingness must love this appearance in some way, and that is why it keeps appearing in this way. And as long as you don't put on a persona, it is absolutely fine to enjoy the fruits of what is here appearing. There's such great wonder, such great joy at all the appearances. All this is possible. As long as we don't confuse ourselves to become part of the content, all content can be enjoyed. Aradhana says, all surrendered at your feet. Thank you. And Atma says, consciousness loves this, enjoys it. Very good. Vishwas says, Father, can you please talk about the physical body, its limitations, its sickness, ailments and pain? Coping with all of this and not dwelling into body identification. Yes, sure. So the medicine is the same. The medicine for this is the same medicine as for all other appearances of suffering. And the medicine is not to believe our mental interpretation. So a pain will arise. There is no body which is without pain. In fact, in every body to some degree there is always some pain. It's only that our attention doesn't go to it because it is below a certain threshold. But even if you were to scan right now, you will find that there are some slight areas of pain, and for some there might be areas which are more, but there is always some pain in the body. But the suffering comes only when we believe a thought about it. When we say, oh, why does this always happen to me? Or I'm losing my health now. I'm starting to grow old now. Then this thought can cause the suffering actually. To just be in the pure presence of pain actually is not too bad. I know some of you will feel that it's not a compassionate thing to say, but try it out for your own self. To be in the pure presence of pain is not too bad, but to believe these thoughts about the pain, that causes real suffering. When we stop fighting the pain, where there is openness and acceptance of the pain, then scientifically there has been proven that the experience is much more bearable. So if a pain is telling us something, that something needs our attention, and if it needs some treatment from a doctor or application of some medicine, then all of that is fine. As a very practical interpretation. But the instant we start giving it some belief that it affects me in some real way, that is when we fall into the ego trap. And the minute we start fighting with our pain and resisting our pain, denying its existence, then the pain seems even more loudly shouting for our attention. So pain actually just seems to be a call for our attention. And when we are open with giving it our attention, it seems not too unbearable. So Vishwa said, when there is pain or sickness, the attention seems to go there completely and exaggerate what actually is. The attention can go there completely. And if you're completely open to keeping the attention there, then it will not even bother you. The exaggeration comes only from a thought. And the exaggeration only comes when we feel that our attention should not go to the pain. We can all try this even right now. If we are completely open to all pain and we are fearless about it, and we are happy to be in the presence of this pain, then you will find that it does not want to hold on to your attention also for too long. But if you make it a fight for your attention, then it seems to scream louder and louder to get our attention. So Ananya says, Namaste Father. Ananya here, are even insights phenomenal in a way? All that appears apart from the pure awareness itself is phenomenal in a way. We have gone to the extent of calling even the birth of consciousness, the sense I am or beingness, phenomenal. Therefore, all that appears from this consciousness must also be phenomenal. Can there be any insight without consciousness? Can there be any insight without being? Therefore, it must be also part of consciousness itself, and hence phenomenal. Rashmi said yes. Atma says yes, with you, Father. And there are a lot of yeses, so I must have asked whether all of you are with me, and you say that you are. Very good. Very good. Rashmi says, let the seeker burn in this fire of satsang. And we don't even need to make it so dramatic. We are completely unconcerned now with what happens to the seeker identity. Why would we be concerned with something that was only imagined? But I get the essence of what you're saying, and very happy that you would throw even the seeker identity into the fire of satsang. Shanti says, yes, not really too interested in the person. Leaving this person for you to absorb into your holy being. I am free. Very good, very good. Rashmi says, yes, it felt like a trap. All this seeking, take it all away. The desire for freedom also starts off as a personal endeavor. Like we said before, although it starts off as a personal endeavor, just like everything else, this desire for freedom, if it is full of integrity and earnestness, then will lead you to the dissolution of the person itself. Shanti He says, I am silent now. Okay. Ustreamer 172 says, this life is yours. Thank you so much. Jayani says, Anantaji, it is so clearly seen that the seeker is like a hamster that has been on a treadmill for hundreds of years, and now the treadmill has stopped, but the hamster is still running. And she says, this seeking energy cannot find, it is just the mind's attempt to say, I got it, yes. It is a very subtle play here and has nothing to do with what is true. Very good. Felt to expose this and put it in the fire. Very good. Yes. So because the desire for freedom starts off as a personal endeavor, there are many times where the person will come and say, I got it. Because it was a personal journey, just like there could be a personal endeavor to get a degree in college, or it could be a personal endeavor to make some money, or could be a personal endeavor to find a partner in life. And when all these milestones happen, we say, I did it, or I got it. In the same way, when the person feels that there is some understanding, it wants to jump up and say, I got it. And when the master says, this I must also go, then there is sometimes even a sense of anger, frustration and irritation. That is called the spiritual ego. Where there is more attachment to the sense that we have achieved something than to trust the master's voice and to say that even this one who is claiming to be awake now, even this one must go. That is true faith. And if grace has blessed you with this true faith, then this one who is screaming up and down saying, I got it, or I didn't get it, this one will also very quickly leave now. So much love. Louise asks a very good question. She says, Father, what is the integrity if the person is the source of the seeker? What constitutes the integrity? This is an excellent question. And this is something that I also grappled with when I used to read Maharaj talking about integrity and earnestness. So just like surrender, just like giving up the personal idea, just like the concept of letting go or self-inquiry, as long as there's some identification with the person here, then all these concepts are for that. If there is no identification with the person, then all these words can be heard just like music actually. So, satsang is for those who start off as persons and eventually dissolve into the being. And to those who are fully dissolved into being, there is nothing that needs to be said. But as long as there is a personal idea, it is my job to say, be honest to yourself, be truthful to yourself, continue to surrender, continue to let go, continue to inquire. So based on whatever is coming up for the questioner, an answer will come. So just in the same way there, it is to be said that don't deny, be truthful in your search, expose what is happening. Shine your light on everything that is showing up. And if you are blessed with this integrity and earnestness, then you will find that you never was anyway. And if you already understood that you never were, then we are just sharing in this beautiful communion of presence itself. Then no words are for you. No instruction then applies. So Rashmi says, at your holy feet, Father. Very good. Zoe says, dearest Father, I feel so very free and joyful and peaceful in my life. But there is also the same time an energy that tries to control the direction of my life, even though I know this is nonsense. So she says, I'm so happy, so free and peaceful and joyful in my life, but there seems to be an energy which seems to want to take control of this life. So let this energy come. Let it play whatever it is wants to play. You do not say that it should or should not come. But just don't identify yourself to be this energy. It is the ego itself. It is the ego itself which is the energy which presumes to have some control over the direction of life. But it is in our satsang inquiry we see that no individual has any control of any sort. Anything can show up in the body, in the thoughts, in the emotions. Anything can show up at any point of time. In the external world, there is no control at all. But yes, there is this energetic entity called the ego which seems to control our life and bring it in a certain direction. And as long as you don't say that I am that energy, it will not last. It needs to rely on you for its life. You do not rely on it for its life, for your life. Very good. Zoe says, placing this at your feet. Very good, very good. Jayani says, yes, Father, this spiritual ego is yours and Mujiji is now. Yes, all is Mujiji. All is Mujiji. Thank you. You streamer 749 says, there is great opening here. Thank you. Very good, very good. The days seem to be getting shorter in Bangalore. That's why it seems to be getting darker a little earlier. So maybe it's time I put on the light. Just give me a minute. This is a nice way to create that holo, what is it called? The halo. The halo light, no? Why spend hundreds of years doing some sadhana? Just do it with this. I'm not sure where these jokes are coming from. Ustreamer 67 says, a sense of self-importance for feeling freer from disturbing thoughts. I want to expose it and give everything to you. So there's a sense of self-importance for feeling freer from disturbing thoughts. Yes. So there's a sense that something has been achieved. I'm free now from disturbing thoughts. There's a sense of I got it. It's a very subtle way of saying the same thing. There's a sense that feeling I got it. I'm special, I'm important because I got it. I want to expose it and give everything to you. Very good. You are sharing it in satsang itself, is exposing it and giving it. Very good. Soham says, now you have a halo father. Exactly what I was saying. That was so sweet. Ustreamer 807 says, it's dark in Mumbai also because of heavy rain. Jamie says, I love you so much. Ananta ji, I love you too, dearest one. Very good. Zoe says, my screen cut out for your reply to me, and then I tried to control that, and then I laughed. Oh, thank you. Very good. This is always happening, no? This is always happening. Just that person's screen seems to cut out when the reply is coming. Maybe that is the reply. No? That is life's reply to us. Says control? What are you talking about? Here. Go on. Zoe says, so much gratitude and love. Same, very good. And Cornelia says, so much love. Thank you, thank you. Rashmi says, exposing comparison and judgment in this person. Very good. Shanti says, love for all the beautiful presence here. Om Shanti. Very good. Louis says, Father, maybe some integrity, question mark. I feel so much shame at being this way, at not seeing my truth, at going over and over the same stupid things. I feel so much shame at being this way, at not seeing my truth, at going over and over the same stupid things. This I does not exist. The I who is feeling all of this just does not exist. You are watching all of this play out. You can look and check in this very moment that this is true. that this I, who is saying all of this, just does not exist, it never did. It is just that some thoughts are appearing and some energies are appearing which are pulling this body mind in this direction. But you are still completely unmoved, you are the pure witnessing itself. And if you say that this I does exist, can you tell me where it is? So I say, I do not believe that this I exists without some evidence. Can you show me some evidence of its existence? Are you also believing in the existence of this I without enough evidence, without any evidence actually? Because even one attribute which is real, we cannot give of this I. It's very good that you expose in this way. It's very good. So this false I idea can now be snatched away from you. When I say that you expose, means you are putting your head in the chopping block. You are putting your head on the chopping block. And when you put your head on the chopping block, then accept the chop that comes. Don't be scared to get your head chopped off here. So all that our head is saying is complete rubbish. Throw it all away. Throw it away this instant. And once all this head stuff, mind stuff is thrown away, then tell me what remains. Ganga says, thank you for your guidance, Ananta. So grateful, very good. Good. You streamer 967 says, the thought that I am always teaching spiritually in all my relationships keeps coming back. Please take it with you. Yes. He says, they say that this thought that I am always teaching spiritually in all my relationships. No? Somewhere there is a smelling of some arrogance there. There is smelling of some arrogance which they are feeling. Therefore, they are saying, take it with you. I do not want this distance between myself and my relationships. Do not want this sense of self-importance that I am a teacher. It's very good to have this courage to expose. Ustreamer 769 says, thank you Ananta, can't be easy to be on your toes and in meetings all day and then speaking some more to all of us and blessing us with your presence. Thank you so very much, ever grateful. Thank you so very much for your presence as well. This is complete joy for me. Being in your wonderful presence is complete joy. Thank you so much. Rashmi says, thank you so much for being with all of us even after a hard day, I'm presuming. Much love to you and all here. Thank you so much. I know it's not easy for you also with 2 young kids to be in satsang every day. I'm very happy that you are able to join. Thank you. Atma says, so much love, dearest father. So much love to you too, my dear. There will come a point in all our lives where we will be face to face with the fact that all the suffering that has ever come has been because of this person that we believed ourselves to be. We will be confronted by this fact. And then this person will be asked to leave. This person will be given no interest and will be asked to leave. You will say that I am only interested in hearing the voice of my master. There is no interest in hearing the ego's voice anymore. And whether you call it choice or whether you call it grace actually makes no difference. But once this ego's voice has been let go of, then you will find that I am always the self and the self alone. I have always been that. So the so-called spiritual journey ends at the point with the realization that it never started anyway. That there was no journey, I have always only been the self. And in this apparent contradiction is the life of a seeker. It starts off as a journey and ends with the realization that no journey was required. Thank you all so very much for joining us in satsang today. Mujiji ki Jai.